you can see from the presentation, Ishtiaq had to kind of run through it. I barely hear what he's saying. Anyway, that's not a criticism, it's a comment. So very commendable work by the team. I think, when I have interacted with chemical industry, they always, and many other large industries, they have asked me that what does the government think? I think it's very important to bring all this data and analysis into a single place so that all stakeholders kind of have a similar basis and also some projections. Every part of the chemical industry will have their own projections. It's not necessary that they will believe all the projections here, but I think it's important to have a starting base from which others can project. So I think that's a very important role that these studies play. Thirdly, the diversity is huge, and I may be wrong, but I have often thought of chemical industry as an economist in two different segments of part. One is kind of capital intensive, where scale of production is very important, and the other is kind of skill intensive, where we talk about specialized chemicals, etc. Obviously, there's a whole spectrum, but just as a way of thinking. So when we think of the first part, the fragmentation means that demand is fragmented among lots of producers, so they are not able to come up to scale. One of the reasons for clustering was to bring facilities together so there can be a common scale which gives efficiency. So so I think there is an issue of whether you want to build more clusters or you want to develop the clusters which you have. I think so this is something you must keep in mind when you go forward, because I'm not sure that we still have the scale. So for example, you mentioned exports as a supplement. Why is that? Because that means that domestic demand, even the role of domestic demand, either because it's fragmented or for whatever reasons, is not enough to give you that scale. So one is the issues connected with scale, and the second one on skill intensive, clearly I think it's a very useful for that this 30% you have quantified. So skilling is a great issue. It cuts across, but the substantive numbers, etc., I think it will be very helpful. So basically, at both the national and the state level where these clusters are, there needs to be a kind of tripartite mechanism, where government, whether it's national or the state, acts as a coordinator and brings the government, the colleges, the universities, the polytechnics, the ITIs together to do the skilling. I don't think